Do you ever look back and think, where would I be at if shit didn't go the way it went? Like I look back at my life and I think if I didn't abuse alcohol, I don't know, maybe I would be in a better position. Maybe I would be different. Maybe I would be like working in finance on Wall Street or some shit. I don't know. But, I look back on my life and I think sometimes I'm glad things worked out the way they did. I'm glad I did the things I did. I'm glad I wouldn't look I'm looking back and I wouldn't change how anything turned out. I wouldn't change anything that I did. And I'm saying this because, you know how your phone just gives you like a random memory from like 5 years ago? So yeah, like yesterday I'm laying in bed and my phone gives me a notification of just like a photo album of just pictures from 7 years ago, 2019 around Easter. And I'm like, oh shit, all right. It's just pictures of like me and my sister and like me and my family. And I'm just like, I'm looking at it, I'm like, damn, 7 years ago, some pictures of like me and my friends. And I'm thinking, damn, bro, 7 years ago. That's crazy. Like I'm just looking at me and like my old pictures of myself. And so I kept going back, I kept going up, I just kept looking at old stuff, man. And, I came across like some old footage, some old videos I took of like me going out and like me drinking and just old pictures of me just partying. And I'm not gonna lie, bro. Looking back at that footage, bro, looking back at the film and the videos and the old pictures of myself, like partying and drinking and just being wild. I ain't gonna lie, it was hard to look at, bro. It was hard to watch. I'm looking at this, I'm like, damn, bro, this was really me. Like I'm looking at the old videos I was taking of me just out drinking Hennessy and taking shots of vodka and drinking Jack Daniels and just being completely blackout drunk, looking at videos I took. And I'm like, damn, bro, this is really what I was on. This was really me. And it was hard to watch, bro. I'm like, damn, like, ain't no fucking way. Ain't no fucking way. But it just made me think, bro, like, I still wouldn't change anything about the past if it led me to this moment right now, to where I'm at right now. And I'm not gonna lie either, bro. Past couple months, the start of this year, I was motivated. I was motivated in the beginning of 2026. I was motivated as fuck. I was like, yeah, bro, I'm finna start reading hella books. I'm finna start locking in on content creation and my craft and just being, some type of mogul in, the sobriety social media space. I'm a lock in on life, bro, and I'm a elevate, I'm a level up. And yeah, I started it. I started doing that. And then, the opportunity for me to come overseas to Europe and the UK, man, it happened. And, I still had the mentality of, all right, I'm gonna lock in, I'm gonna focus, I'm gonna level up. And yeah, just along the way, bro, I started to kind of lose myself, man. And being in different environments and being in different cultures, like it opens your eyes up to a lot of shit. And it gives you different perspectives that you didn't have before. And it makes you look at life completely different than you did before. And I'm happy about it. I'm glad about it. But, just along the way, bro, I started to lose that fire of for this, for the page, for the brand, for my actual goals of wanting to achieve, you know, in entrepreneurship and business and just in life, bro. Because for so long when I got sober, bro, I didn't want to, but I had some things happen in my life to where I was like, you know what, fuck it. Cause I wasn't in school. So when I got sober, I was just kind of bullshitting, working odd ends type of jobs and just kind of fucking off of life. And when you get sober, you start really thinking about life and yourself and where you want to be and how you want to live your life. And so yeah, I got this job at a factory and I'm 23 years old and I'm working with, people in their 50s and 60s and I'm doing manual labor, I'm lifting up heavy shit. And all these old guys, they're talking to me like, "Oh man, my fucking back, oh, my fucking hip." And after like a couple months of working with them, I was like, "Yeah." I say, "Yeah, bro, this is not what I'm going to be." So I made the decision. I said, "You know what? I'm going back to school." And at that point, even the first time I went to college, I had no idea what the fuck I wanted to do. I'm a creative person. I'm a creative. I like art. I like music. I like painting. I like photography. I like all that kind of shit. And that's kind of the space and career path that I always saw myself going in. But, being from an immigrant family, you know, they don't really preach or, really support the idea of creatives. You got to be something successful. You got to be in business. You got to be in science. You got to get the pigskin, like my dad says. You know what I mean? You got to get the pigskin and get a degree and, be in a career and go to college, build a life for yourself that way. So I said, fuck it, man. I had no idea what I was going to do. But then I went to college, had no idea what I was going to do. And along the way, I discovered my love for marketing and I figured out how I can bring my creative into the marketing space. And I fell in love with marketing and advertising and just creating. Because in marketing, bro, it's such a beautiful thing because in marketing you can essentially just create a brand and a story from scratch, bro. Like, and that's the way I look at it. You can look at yourself, for example. Like everybody walking in the fucking world right now, everybody is a walking brand. You just got to figure out what it is, what you stand for, and how you want to design it. And that's what marketing is, bro. And that's why I fell in love with it. So I'm saying this because I don't even know why I'm saying it, but I'm saying this because, getting sober has opened my eyes up to a lot. Being overseas and working over here has been a lot. And, I kind of lost my way along the way because I was comfortable back at the crib. I was comfortable back in Michigan. And being out here, bro, I ain't gonna lie. To be honest, I wasn't gonna continue this fucking podcast, bro. I'm not gonna lie because I lost that fire, bro. I lost that motivation, and I wasn't gonna continue it. But then I tore my Achilles, and that forced me to slow down and actually really look at my life and direction that I'm going. And I've really been thinking a lot and hard about what the fuck I'm doing with my life. What the fuck I'm doing with this brand, what the fuck I'm doing with this podcast, what the fuck am I doing? I really have taken a lot of time and just thinking, bro. A lot of just staring at the ceilings, bro. A lot of just being alone. I've been alone since I've been out here. And that gives you a lot of time to think. And especially since tearing my Achilles, bro, I've been thinking a lot. It has forced me to slow down. It's forced me to stop, look at what the fuck I'm doing, and look at what I want to do. And I know I was saying that I wasn't going to come back to this, but, after thinking hard and I'm still thinking, but I started this for a reason. I started the podcast for a reason. I started Unhinged Sanity for a reason. I founded this shit for a reason. And I guess since being out here and since being away and since being alone and, you know, being away from everything that made me comfortable, I've kind of lost that vision. But I gotta say, tearing my Achilles and not being able to go to the gym, not being able to run, not being able to be as active and physically fit as I was, it has forced me to stop, look in the mirror, and think. It's actually stopped and made me look around at my life and seeing what the fuck I'm doing. And, this goes a lot with sobriety, with life, with mental health, because I think sometimes when we're not as stable in our heads, sometimes when things aren't going okay, we like to stay busy. We like to stay fast. We like to just keep moving. We like to just be active. And we don't stop and really think what the fuck we're doing. We just keep going. And I gotta say, this is maybe the lesson that I needed. This is maybe the lesson that I needed, bro. And I don't know. And I guess I'm really just saying this because, it could be relatable in a sense, for the person watching this. I don't know, for anybody watching this, I don't know, you could be going through the hardest time of your life. And I really am I'm really looking at my life and I'm really not trying to complain or bitch because things could really be worse. And, it's just a bump in the road. And trying to look at life and its lessons and trying to really stop and think about what the fuck I'm doing. Because sometimes we really do need to slow down. Sometimes we get caught up in moving fast and moving quick and being active and staying busy and just kind of forgetting what the fuck we're doing when sometimes we really need to stop. And it sucks that it took me tearing my Achilles to really think about this, but it's true. Sometimes we gotta slow down, bro. Being forced to stop and actually look at your life, look at your surroundings, look at your environment, look at what's around you. Sometimes we gotta stop and just think. Sometimes I know not thinking is better than thinking, you know? Sometimes ignoring the problem is better than dealing with the problem. And that's what drinking and alcohol did for me, man. And that's what it does. It makes you stop and forget. It makes you ignore and not deal with the. So if you're gonna take anything from this video, from this episode, from me, from life, I encourage you to stop, think, pay attention to what's around you. Because sometimes busy isn't good. Sometimes being too active isn't good. Sometimes you need to slow down. So before you're forced to slow down yourself, because it's you behind the wheel. It's your foot on the gas pedal. It's your foot on the brake. So just slow down. Slow down. Thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for being here. This is T from Unhinged Sanity. This is the Sober and Unbothered podcast. Thank y'all for tapping in. Love.